Hey everybody, guess who's back in the studio? And I'm an extra kind of excited. Okay. You guys should be used to me by now. I'm always in rare form, whether that's in goofy rare form or like F-bomb rare form. But nevertheless, I'm always 100% myself. I'm super duper excited because this whole season, which is about elevation, let's just bring that back up again. I've had all of my regular heavy hitters come back and be re-interviewed, but I've had a lot of new, fresh faces. And this next woman that's on the podcast, what she's doing is amazing. I had an opportunity to see her art in action. And I'm like, I need you to be on the podcast because I need you all to see what's possible. And typically what you guys have witnessed is most of the entrepreneurs that are on here, they are just 100% beast in their business. But she has a very and I say lofty with no disrespect, Mackleen. I'm about to let her introduce herself. But she has a lofty goal. She is a visionary. Her dream is over the fucking top, but her work ethic and what she's doing is also over the top too. And so I'm excited because I'm hoping that not only will she be on the podcast now, she gonna come back later and be like, I'm not gonna forget the little people. Let me tell you what happened because I've been beasting my dream for this long. And so today we have someone in a completely different industry, you guys. And for that reason, I'm going to stop. Mackleen, say hello to everybody and let them know who you are, darling.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mackleen Desravines, an artist, a filmmaker, a writer, a woman.
A woman. I like that. I think it's
a woman, a Black woman.
we in that era right now where it really needs to be emphasized. Okay, we stepping into our power. Everybody sees the shift in the atmosphere. The men may not want to admit it, but it's all good. And we as women, as a race, we are making some major moves too. So you've already kind of just mentioned it really briefly that you write and everything else. But what's your primary thing? Let the people know what you do.
I am a full-time filmmaker, and I also am a college professor. But the filmmaking part of my life is I have a actual full series on YouTube called The Adjuncts, and I'm actually shifting over into movie making. I have a movie coming out in October. I actually just released a short film based off of the web series, and in addition to that too.
Okay, and yeah, we're gonna come back to it. I definitely want them to know more about what in the world is this series with the adjuncts in your film. But I do want to just go ahead and let you guys know whenever I can, when I have guests, if I can support what they've done because I've been a part of it. I like to put it out there. And so I went and saw your premiere for season 2 of Adjuncts, and I was like, okay, I think this would be worthy of putting on my binge out times, because I'm a Marvel girl, and I actually went back and watched the first series, and my 13-year-old watched it with me. She was like, this is good. I want to see the next one. I was like, well, it's only a few of them, baby, but I think, what is it, 10 or 13 of them, she wanted it to be like 20 episodes. I was like, well, they're working on it. But I love the concept of it, and there's a lot of political and social statements, that are also wound up in what you're doing. But let's kind of rewind back. Let's get to pre-adjuncts. What in the world inspired you to take this path of entrepreneurship?
I have always been a writer, okay, that since I was a little girl. And when I went to undergrad, I went there I wanted to be a novelist. And being a novelist can be very kind of isolated, which is fine with me. But as many books as I wrote, I wasn't really getting anywhere. In addition to that, you have to financially support yourself. I never did a great job working for other people. So when I moved to Atlanta, I started like a editing business and writing workshops. When I did that, I also got into teaching, which is why I'm also a professor as well, because I like being independent, the front of the class, not really kind of answering phones, chasing after stuff, sitting in the office type of gig. I need to be able to kind of spread my wings and do what I do. So getting into pre-adjuncts, I went back to grad school to tighten up my craft, and I learned to get around other writers and learn not just the business of writing, but how to be successful as a writer. And so it's when I learned about production, how to run a production company, how the whole thing works, and how do you make money off of being a filmmaker. And so while I was in grad school, I talked to a lot of people, connected with a whole lot of people, and I learned. And that's when I set up a plan right after I graduated to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Here's how I'm going to find funds. Here's how I'm going to support myself. And here's how I'm going to kind of grab a crew so I can actually build this empire. And this started about maybe 3-4 years ago.
Okay, great. And so let's kind of speed forward to that. You got the know-how, so you know what to do. What does that journey look like for you, going out there to solicit, you know, people, organizations, whatever it is that you learn about getting the funds for people? Talk to people about the highs, the lows, the easy parts, the challenges with actually doing that, being a filmmaker.
Well, when you're trying to fund your own series, a lot of people, especially when you're brand new, they are not supportive of it. And it's understanding because they don't know you. So you can pitch to them anything perfect, but if they don't know you, you have no type of resume that shows that you can actually do it, they tend to be hesitant. So you end up being self-funded. But a lot of the things that I got, like, you know, food and maybe some equipment, it's just by asking.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I need cameras. Can I use your cameras? And in addition to that, I will make sure that your company is on the credits so that we have like a barter system. Asking is so important because it's how you get things. Hey, can you cook some food for my crew? Hey, can you take care of this and take care of that? It's simply asking, because they may not be able to financially support you, but they can financially, they can support you in other ways, and you have to ask. Also, being smart with your money and asking people, okay, so if this is my budget, where can I go with this? And they can advise you. Again, it's not always about the dollar, but it's certainly about how you can ask someone to help your service and help your business. So that's what I did. So I was able to kind of build my crew, film what we needed to film, and have the funds we needed to buy what we needed to buy. A lot of times, too, a lot of people in the crew, they would also believe in me, thankfully, and they would bring their own stuff, or they bring more new people. And so those people, they had equipment. And so that's how I kind of built it all up. And so you learned also, okay, I need to have this. I need to have that. And so the next time around, I have my own set of cameras. I have my own set of lights, I have my own mics, and you learn that way. And later on, I've also learned that in filmmaking, it doesn't matter. You must have a business plan. If you're selling a script, you must have a business plan. It's one thing for them to read the script, think it's wonderful, but if you don't have a marketing plan on who the audience is, how you're going to attract them, how they're going to get hooked to it, things that they would like, that type of their behaviors, it's also not going to work. Film is a business. It's the creative side, and then there's the business side. They have to go hand in hand. Without it, go ahead.
You said a lot, and I have to interject only because, you know, I love for people to make sure that they're catching the teachable moments, that they're gleaning something from your experience. And one of the things that I hear people say a lot is that the road to entrepreneurship is lonely. And what I hear from you is beautiful, because yeah, there is a lonely side to it, because maybe you're misunderstood, because the vast majority of people around you have an employee mindset. But what I heard from you was you realized that you needed to connect. You needed to connect with people. And so, and I love to defy the myths. I love to dispel them, because I know that I wouldn't be where I'm at as an entrepreneur if it wasn't for the connections that I've made, and not just the connections from my clients, but from people that have been willing to collaborate with me, whether that's me being on their podcast, them being on mine, me being on their summit, people being on my summit. You know, you can't have a long ranger mentality towards entrepreneurship. And I tell people all the time, even the Lone Ranger had Tonto. So there really is no, you know, no loneliness to it. And so some of you, that might be the game changer for you. You need to start rubbing some elbows. You need to start, you know, getting next to some people and saying, hey, you know, I am a such and such too. And that's one of the reasons why I do encourage people, you know, to network. The other thing I hear from you, and it goes back to those old sayings. I love my grandmother, because she would say it in a heartbeat: closed mouth don't get fed, which correlates with the scripture, you have not because you ask not. And you had to have been passionate about your dream. You absolutely have had to be passionate about it, because there's a level of humility that had to be woven into the ability to say, hey, I need these things. Please help me with whatever you can. And this is what I can give you in exchange. And some of you, you won't get where you're going because you're looking at the aesthetics. You're looking at the wrong things. I remember when I did my first summit, I came out there, I'm badass. I'm doing the Real Talk of Business Mastery Summit. And, you know, I did pay a graphic designer who was badass, by the way, to make my templates and do that stuff. But there are a lot of things that I did not know how to do. But I went after some people that were 7-figure earners, multiple 6-figure earners. I had people at the beginning of their entrepreneurial journey because I had a vision. And if I would have been tripping off of whether or not I looked a certain way, talked a certain way, had certain things, and I wasn't humble enough to say I am and humble and worthy at the same time to go after it and get it, then people wouldn't be able to believe in me. So you showed that you believed in yourself by being able to be humble and to do those things. And so, the last thing I'll say, there was so much wisdom and so much power from everything that you were saying. I'm like, wait a minute, I got to slow her down. I'm not going to be able to remember all of the points that I have in my mind. But you mentioned self-funding. And at the end of the day, the vast majority of entrepreneurs are self-funded. It's like I got a job, and whether you're writing a book, whether, you know, it doesn't make a difference what you're doing. And I'm not going to get into the whole spiel about what you should or should invest in first, but it's your money that comes from you working that funds your website. If you write a book and you self-publish, you know, even if the self-funding is a lot of time, it's you getting out there and not being afraid to do live videos and to promote yourself. It has to begin with you. And so many of you have an idea or a vision for entrepreneurship that starts with somebody else believing in something that you thought up and you wanting them to put forth the effort. And it just doesn't work like that. You know, so I just wanted to say that, and I didn't know if you had something else you wanted to say before I asked another question, because you might have had a thought from my thought.
The challenges.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you're dealing with self-funded projects, you get a lot of volunteers. As an executive producer of the adjuncts, at the very beginning, I had to treat it like it didn't matter if I had $5 or $5 million. How you're going to come on set is how you're going to come on set professionally. Like, just because you accept volunteers, you don't have to coddle them or be extra nice because they're doing you a favor. No, you run a business. Yes. So my team, set time is 7 o'clock. Can you be here at 7 o'clock? If you get to a point where you come late, I don't need you. Mm-hmm. I have told people working for me for free, you know what? You're not in this. You're not committed to it. So let's part ways while we're still good.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to do that, because there'll be many times we'll show up when they want to. No, we're on a schedule, because when it comes to filming, time is money. You either have a 12-hour day or you have a 16-hour day. And so if you're coming in late, canceling in the morning, don't come anymore. No hard feelings. And I've always told people from way back then and even now, either you're in or you're out. Whether I pay you or I don't, I will pay you, but you will respect my business as an executive producer. And you also respect my position. Yes. And I feel like that was a learning thing for me, because sometimes I felt like I was too soft, but excuse me, I learned quickly that this is still my money going in. This is still my time going in, and other people's time. So in order for this to function and to be well filmed and well acted out, everyone has to be professional. And just because people are volunteering time or offering you things, if they're not handling it in a professional manner, don't be afraid to walk away. Don't be afraid to say, you know what, I really need them. The universe provides. Yeah. It provides. God will always provide, because I have said, you know what, even though I'm using your equipment, I'll find a way to find another equipment, but you're not in this, so let's part ways. And just like that, boom, I got something else. Absolutely. Because I want to be professional. And that's such a challenge sometimes, because as a woman, and you're you don't want to come off as bitchy, you know, but being strong isn't bitchy. Running your business isn't bitchy. So I'm not afraid of that. I am not afraid of that. Everyone I've worked with will always tell you I'm extremely professional and I don't play those games. If I say set time 7 o'clock, he's strolling at 9, we need to have a conversation about whether or not you're going to continue.
I love that. I got to come in because number one, and I have to put this out here because I understand that, you know, women get a stigma period if they're bitchy, but you know, there is a dynamic, and I'm very real, and I'm also sometimes cautious about how I bring up certain topics, but this right here is specifically for my sisters because, you know, if you were a white woman and you did what you did, it might be like, oh my God, she's really being bitchy today. If you're a black woman, it's like, oh, angry black woman. You know, we end up getting those titles. And so a lot of us, we don't show up in business the way that we're supposed to. And I literally had this conversation with a girlfriend of mine about 2 weeks ago because I said, wow, I just realized that, excuse me, I just realized that I don't have a problem, and I don't care if anybody ever thinks of me as an angry black woman, because I will go on my lives and be in full-fledged rant mode. I have been on my LinkedIn page and men have solicited me and, hey, I have the 4 steps to help you close more clients without frustration. Excuse me. Don't come in my inbox spamming me. If you would have taken 2 seconds to look at my profile, you would see that I teach sales, and your position was really tacky. So how about you buy my sales process, and the next time take 2 seconds to look at me before you send me anything. I could care less about whether or not somebody perceives me as a bitch or not. I'm a boss, and a boss, they spearhead. See, when you're a man, it's sexy. You know, he's a shrewd business owner. But when you're a woman, then all of a sudden you're a bitch. And if you're a black woman, then you an angry black woman, basically being nice and not calling you an angry black bitch. But at the end of the day, this is just real talk, and we have to have these conversations. And so this is August. I coach women all the time that don't take no stuff, but the way that they articulate the fact that they don't take stuff is completely different than me. And you have to be able to be in your own skin. But I love the fact that you're also emphasizing and reiterating the fact that it's a business. And I want to go back to this whole volunteer thing. At some point, you guys have got to open up your mind. I'm always talking about being a visionary more often than not. Those people who quote unquote volunteered didn't understand that they were in the seed phase of your business. And so the same people that could have been volunteering some time acting, volunteering some equipment, are the same people that evidently you ain't all of that in a bag of potato chips, because you were still touchable. You were still reachable. How do you not know that you're not going to get somewhere because of what I did? Somebody may see what you did in my project and not want my project, but want you. And so when you have a swag about your business, and once again, I'll use my summit as an example. I literally kicked a woman off of my summit. She developed this kind of attitude, and I remember sitting there saying to myself, okay, I've already started promoting. Her picture is on all of the stuff. And what is this going to look like? Because you don't really hear about the riffs. You don't hear about the BS. People kind of allude to things in social media. I immediately went back to my graphic designer. Her picture happened to be in a great spot on the little wall. I say, block it out, redesign it. I took her name, all her information off of everything, and I cut her. The second summit, I had to do the same thing. Somebody came in there and it's like, I opened up a door for you. You presented things one way, you did something different, and I cut her. I could care less. People are like, oh my God, when August does stuff, there's drama. That no, when you guys do stuff too, especially for my online business owners, there's drama too. But you're like, oh my God, I don't want to look like I'm like this, so I'm not going to do that. Not understanding that if you can't stand up now, when you get in that room where the deals are made, you're not going to be able to stand up then. And then your dream turns into a slave ship. And then you find yourself doing things based on other people's timelines, on other people's schedule. The whole point of being an entrepreneur is to recreate your life and to gain control back. And so don't ever think that anything that you're doing for somebody that they're doing you a favor. That's like some people that I've literally asked to be a guest on a podcast, they act like I was doing them a favor. And I'm like, do you not know where you at? You are on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. Do you understand that 3 years from now, this motherfucker still gonna be in rotation? And that when people hear you, if your stuff is still relevant, they gonna go there. Do you understand? See, that's the kind of pride you have to have in what you produce. So yeah, I get some of your audience because they're listening in because they want to hear your interview. But do you understand that you're capturing my audience that was here before you and they get you too? And what if it was just one person? What if it was just one person and you signed a $10,000 contract with them for coaching? It was to your benefit. So you guys got to have this mindset that says, no, when people do stuff for me, whether for free or for fee, I am amazing. So, I mean, thank you. You was on, you was on your thing. I'm gonna pass the mic back, but you got me hot, girl. I need a fan in here.
I think it's very critical to know who you are in the business, like, from the beginning. And because, when you run your business, and even when you're dealing with like investors, being clear, because not every deal is a good deal, and you have to see what they get out of it, what you get out of it. And still, if you go in, when you could have investors, you partner together. You don't work with them. So if they're telling you, you got to do this, got to do that, and it doesn't work for you, you got to be covered, like strong enough to say, okay, walk away. In addition to that, sometimes people pull out, and that's hurtful. And you can't take it personally. You just got to know what you need to do. I think the biggest blow I had was last summer before I shot my film Smoke. We had an investor. Oh, I knew, just in case, I needed to cover my ends. So I'm going to shoot this movie no matter what. I had an investor say, okay, we're going to put up X amount of dollars. We're going to do this. We're going to take it. We're going to do this. I said, okay, cool. I said, all right. I noticed a couple things were a little shifty. And I said, just in case, I'm going to take out a loan. And before I made sure I got approved and everything, I said, but before I even touch that, that has to be my backup, because there was something that I knew could possibly go wrong. And I said, I have to be prepared. Lo and behold, the day of the table read, I get a phone call at 7 o'clock in the morning. Sorry, I got to pull out.
Damn.
And it's like, it was so discouraging. I called my other producer and I was like, what are we going to do? She said, we're going to go to this table read. We're going to figure this out. And you have to have good people around you.
Yes.
If it was just me, I may have thrown in the towel or stressed out or said, let's hold off on the table read till we figured out this financial part. But she said, absolutely not. You're going to come in here. We got, it's 7 o'clock, it's 7:30 now. We got to meet everybody at 10 o'clock. I'll see you at 10 o'clock. I'll see you at 9:30. And I'm like, but we ain't got no end call. And then, and so it goes into grind mode. And I said, all right, I have half the money we need. I get there, I talk to my team. They're like, all right, where can we get equipment? Where can we get this? And we just pulled it together.
Yeah.
We needed, but I told myself, thank goodness you looked at other avenues prior to even signing this deal. Now, I'm not saying that when someone says, oh, I'm going to invest in you, make sure you have a back plan all the time, but you have to cover yourself.
Yeah.
You have to cover yourself because things are expensive. We're talking about film here. And again, it's that self-funding, and then you're working with investors. You have to know what you're getting into. What is your angle? If they are not that invested, they don't really see it as big, or they don't see you as big. They'll say no. The thing is, like, when he walked away, I saw later on he funded somebody else's film, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine, because you don't think I'm gonna go anywhere. Well, I had the most anticipated short film coming out this year. And I don't know who helped you support, and I wish them success, but we still got it done.
Yeah.
We still got a beautiful movie, and I'm just, you have to be ready to take that blow, because that was a hard blow. You're talking about, not everybody got $15,000 to just shell out like that. And so when someone pulls that carpet up, we're like, okay, what are we gonna do? Again, the universe will provide.
But see, you had skin in the game. That, that's what I love about that. You had skin in the game. And so many people, they want the glory, but they don't want the grunt. And, it's not about teaching people that everything is going to be difficult, because I know my woo-woo folks out there, they probably going to get tired of me calling them woo-woo folks. Love to talk about just manifesting and attracting and all of that stuff. But the reality of it is, as and I said I'm gonna do a podcast about this. It's called attraction marketing, not attraction selling, and not attraction work. Those things actually require effort. And so But I just thought while you were talking, you said something else that I believe was really important, because you talked about if you're going to be in film, then you have to have a business plan. And I'm one of those people that I teach people, don't ever swing the pendulum too far to the left or too far to the right. And so when people say things on my podcast that may seem like they're contrary to things that I've taught, I know that it's important for me to talk on those things. And I know that a lot of individuals don't know that I've actually coached people with business plans. One of my first clients, she was like, I want to do this. And as an event planner, I had to help her, pull all of that stuff out of her. A lot of you are like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do a business plan. Some of you are, I won't start my business without one, and you don't really need one. Some of you are, I'm only going to do high ticket. I'm only going to do low ticket. And what you have to understand is that you don't only surrender anything. You need to look at your market, and before you start developing opinions, understand what are the rules of engagement in that genre of entrepreneurship that you're going to delve into. But what I love about your TV series, The Adjuncts, is that it's laser freaking focused. See, because you didn't say I want to do a film about teachers. That's not niching down. What teacher? Kindergartners, secondary, elementary education, what are you going to do? And you could have been like, well, I just want to do a TV show about professors. Yeah, okay, but do they have tenure or are they adjuncts? You know what I'm saying? And so that going and slicing stuff down, so many entrepreneurs won't niche down, but you are in a market where unfortunately there are a plethora of people with that title, that when they see the rawness of what you're producing, they will jump on the bandwagon because they resonate with what you're talking about so strongly, because they're living the life, they're living the experience. I mean, I literally was just doing a live about this prior to recording this podcast, about just really being in touch with the core and the soul of you, and that being the game changer and the thing that makes the difference with you and your business idea, and how it comes out of you. Because what those investors want to see from you is they want to see laser focus. They wanted the game plan, but you can't understand how you're going to market to people, where they are, how you're going to reach them, how you're going to get a profit back and all that stuff, if you aren't laser focused. And so there's so many things that you're saying. Everybody that's listening, are you truly gaining? Are you gleaning from this woman's story and saying, you know what, that's the thing that I need to change? With what I'm doing with my business, I need to sell out more. I need to be more laser focused. I need to have skin in the game. I need to have a circle around me that believes in me so much that when I feel like quitting, they like, click, boo-boo, see you there. All of those things are really, really important. I want to shift gears typically, and unless there's something else that you really want to say. Typically, when I do the podcast, we hammer in really hard about the experience, and then we do a little promo at the end. People that are listening to this now, they need to hear about this highly anticipated film that I'm trying to see if my husband's gonna come and see with me too, because the teaser reel, y'all need to know. She at least need to be on Netflix, y'all. Netflix, while y'all hating, Smoke is gonna be the shit. If if you listening and you a part of Netflix, I'm calling you out. I'm not, look, this movie is going to be off the chain. Start talking to them about your project, whatever the passion behind it, where it's going to be. You go and be in your flow. I want us to go in a hardcore promo mode right now.
So let's talk about Smoke, all right?
Yeah.
The movie is about two lawyers that are battling out on the fate of a man who committed a terrible crime. He murdered people. And the thing is with the movie Smoke that makes it so intense is people think they know the law. They think they know the law. Let's get real. We got a lot of police shootings, and we're wondering, how come they walk away? How come they only get first, second degree? What's manslaughter? This movie explores it, because you would think someone who commits the type of crimes that he committed would be thrown underneath the jail, but he wasn't. He was released more than once. So I want everyone to come in when they see the movie Smoke to have an open mind, because it's a sad movie. It's a graphic movie. Sorry, it's a mature audience, no kids. to understand that families suffer, but the law is the law. That's what it boils down to. My movie focuses on one attorney's passion to fight for a family's justice. The other attorney is saying, well, you know what? People make mistakes and they're human. They're human. And yes, they have to pay for their crimes, but punishing them does not reform them. Punishing them rightly and giving them a path to reform is the way. So then you see these two attorneys go back and forth like, okay, why isn't this happening versus why is that happening? I feel like the audience will walk away probably a bit saddened because the law isn't always with us, but it is the law. Let me take a step back. What made me want to do this story is based on a true story. I read an article my sister sent me about this man who committed a terrible crime in Detroit. And it sat with me because I said, how does someone kill all these people and still get second-degree murder with parole? I'm not going into full details, so I want y'all to come see the movie. Yeah. And I sat there and I talked to attorneys. I reached out to people I knew. I said, do you know any lawyers? Do you know any judges? I want to ask them some questions. And I asked questions. So when I did my script, I did a lot of research before I even wrote it. I had to understand the law. I said, how is it that this doesn't happen? Every attorney said, oh, no, it'd definitely be second degree. I'm like, excuse me? Yeah. And so I felt like a lot of the film will open up everyone's minds to say, okay, I thought this was the case, but that's not. Another part of the film that is really, really important, and I stress this, like, I am an advocate of domestic violence. I support women, and I always encourage them to walk away from a dangerous situation. I also put the responsibility on women. If you are, especially women with children, are in a situation where you have children and you're with a violent person, you have to be strong enough to walk away. The outcome of it can be deadly and bloody. Yeah. And it's also something that we have to discuss, and it is discussed in the movie, where responsibility falls of a woman who would be with someone so violent. And so that aspect of it is where I feel like it splits the audience in half. Some people will feel a certain way about, you know, Monica Brown, and somebody else will feel a different type of way. What I mean by that is the conflict within the movie is there's one with the attorneys and then there's with the victim. What happens to her? What decisions does she make to cause this type of situation to occur? Ooh. And the loss of it. And it's a lot of depth, and I feel like the audience will be split in half. The reason why I don't advocate it as a domestic violence movie, because it's not. Domestic violence happens in the movie, and I feel like I don't want anyone to walk away thinking that I'm victim shaming at all. I think that we need to look at two sides of this argument of how do you punish someone who commits a crime? How do you, right?
I'm sorry. I want to interject. Now, did you purposely pick this time, or is this the timing of when everything was able to be finished and this film was able to be launched? Because
to answer your question, the crime was committed exactly 2 years ago, a couple weeks ago. So okay. This case is fairly recent. Like, he went to jail last March, not March 2018, March 2017. And so I wrote the film as soon as I found out he went to jail. And so when I finished the script, I went back, and in the time period, it just happened to fall into it. I didn't say to myself, well, you know what, I've got a master plan. I just want people to walk away knowing that I'm a full advocate and a survivor of domestic violence. Mm-hmm. But I also the responsibility, especially when it comes to children. But it's a conversation that I want people to have with me, because I know when they see the movie, they'll be like, what are you trying to say? There's responsibility on both ends.
No, I love the reason why I said that is, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, is because, you know, this whole thing, everything is going on, and the Me Too hashtags are on a rampage, you know, right now. And I want to co-sign something that you said, because my first marriage, unfortunately, I dealt with that. And one of the things that the straws that broke the camel's back was not just me saying, whoa, how did I end up getting here and getting out of it? But was because I had a 10-year-old and a 6-week-old. And I was like, if you even make me think that you want to fight me, then I'm leaving. And so I had to do that, leave stripped naked with nothing. When I finally found some place to live, I had no forks, no spoons, no knives, no toilet tissue. You know, I had nothing. I had to start back over from scratch with a 10-year-old and a 6-week-old. And so I know that sometimes the fear of leaving is so stigmatizing, but you do have to leave. And we're in a world. I know you're much younger than me, but I have no problem flaunting my age. I'll be 43 at the end of the year. I think I'm just so freaking adorable. But thank you. But I come from an era where people used to disagree. You know, when we were kids, it'd be like, that's stupid, that's whack. You know, even when we was in high school, man, what you talking about? And you know, debating was a skill. It was something that you did in high school. Now it's like, if you don't 100% say what I say and agree with what I say, then I'm blocking you. You're no longer my friend on Facebook. If you believe in this, F you. I don't want anything to do with you. And so we have immature, listen to me, this is August saying her part. This is not Mackleen. This is my spin off of what she's saying. August is saying, quit handling life like it's black and white, because there's a lot of gray area. And if a woman were to come out and say, oh my God, I'm switching gears to give an example, I was raped, and I would be like, okay, what happened? If I start asking her questions, that doesn't mean that I have adapted myself to a rape culture. See, everybody's reality comes from a position of experience. And so if you've been a rape victim and you've been around other rape victims, and if you are still dealing with that pain, you're going to feel some kind of way. But if you're the kind of woman who's like me, because I've always been around guys, because after me, all of my cousins are guys, my siblings are guys, until I get to a sister many years down the line, I literally know stories, no playing, where girls would hoe out, and then to not look like a hoe would say, oh, he raped me. And it would take a best friend to say, girl, don't do that, because you could be getting these young men put in jail. And, you know, we've seen the posts where gentlemen have went to jail, and later on the woman said she lied. Nobody threw her under the jail for lying and calling rape. So there's, you know, you don't know. And maturity says, without blaming anybody, you get all of the facts. And so, but the bottom line is we're all allowed to have a freaking opinion. And so there's going to be some sensitivity. And I don't know, because I haven't seen that part. I do know I seen a portion on that reel where it was like, she took him back. You know, why would you let somebody into your house knowing what they did? But if we can't be grown, if we can't be mature, if we can't broach the conversations, then we can't really change anything, and we can't heal. And so I personally, I can't wait. I'm hoping that my husband will go with me, but even if he's not there, I'm there on October the 20th. I'm going to see this bad boy, because I'm telling you, just the preview alone, look, even the way the title of the movie comes in, I just love your production quality, period. I was like, man, this is going to be some big shit. And I'm like, I wish I would have known about this. So maybe we could have been, you know, sponsoring, you know, little commercials, you know, throughout up until now. But it's all good, because even though y'all may miss this, it's still going to be available. But, you know, I'm passing the mic back. But you hit a chord with me on a personal level.
Yeah. I want to leave your readers with this, your listeners with this. I want you ladies to ask yourself, would you marry a murderer? October 20th, AMC Decatur. Check me out on Instagram at Bougie Mac, or Smoke the Film on Instagram. Also, check out the trailers on YouTube, youtube.com/Mac Escape Hatch. Mac Escape Hatch is one word. And check out the trailers. Certainly reach out to me if you have any questions. The tickets are on sale on Eventbrite, or you can just go on my Instagram page at Bougie Mac and hit buy tickets, and you can get your tickets. They're only $10. Tickets are selling fast, so I need everyone to get their tickets, because I really want to be able to sell out. And also, I want you to see a great film. I don't want anyone to miss out, and I'm not sure when we're going to have the second showing. So try to get it while it's hot, because then after that, it goes into contests, and it's away for a while till we get it on Amazon. So come out. Yeah. I want y'all to walk away with, would you marry a murderer? Come see Smoke.
Ladies, would you marry a murderer? I don't know. But head over to realwomen.bitchpodcast.com, so you're not trying to figure out how to spell all of those beautiful links that she gave you. Go click the links, go look at the trailer reel, go check it out. This is going to be hot stuff. I saw the previews. I've already seen what her production quality is like. This is an amazing opportunity to be like, I was there. You know, we could be, little people could be like, girl, we was there when you did your first film. Don't forget us. So everybody, thank you for being here, Mackleen. Thank you for coming, because in addition to you letting us know about your film, you definitely shed a lot of wisdom out there for the listeners. And I love that, you know, when we give back to people to let them know what's possible. You're an amazing guest. I would love to chime back in the future to see what kind of things are unfolding for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So everybody have an awesome day. We outie. Deuces.